Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning brief, August 5th, 2020, where we're going to invest with military precision. If you are catching this from a replay, thanks for checking us out. You can always join us live on a free trial at steve@ototnow.com. And even if you decide to join us, it's only 25 bucks a month. So really pretty cheap for the kind of information you're getting. And we want your ideas as well. What you can't see on the replay is there's a chat window and a Q&A window, which is where folks in the room are interfacing with me and each other, having a conversation. Again, it's an investing forum, so everybody's throwing their ideas out there, and we're getting the best of them to capitalize on. So our mission objectives for today are going to be grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. For our tactical objectives, we're going to talk about gold and silver. Gold's hitting new highs today. I want to talk about silver as well and its relation to inflation. Also, the Federal Reserve yesterday, as a kind of our topic of the day, they came out with a plan for what they're going to do for long-term inflation sort of things, and how they're going to manage and manipulate that. So we're going to talk about that towards the end. For the flow for today, we're going to go long, short, open, short, long. So we're going to start talking about long investing only, meaning buy and hold. Best of breed sort of names out there. And then within 10 minutes of the open, we'll transition to short, do some short-term day trading sort of stuff, see what's in play, take a trade if you want, don't if you don't. And then we'll go back long and towards the question and answer. As far as our market review, every day we start with the futures, we go around the world, we look at the bond market, oil market, and interest rates. And then we come back to the headline review in CNBC.com. We'll talk about any things that are out today, like the payroll number was pretty bad. And then we go talk about our long-term investments. What you see there are gold, silver, and platinum, and then you have 3 ETFs, all of which are slightly different, which we will talk about when we get there. For the short-term day trading, have your station set up and open with your trade tickers. What I will do is bring up 3 windows for us to take a look at. It's technically 4 because we have the market overall and then 3 trading windows. They're open. We'll put the names in there that we like, and I will call the trades real time. You can take them wherever you want. You don't have to follow me, but if you take a trade, do everybody a favor. After you take it, put it in the chat so we know who to cheer for, and we can all learn from each other. And if you have any questions on the specifics of the day trading system that we use, it's a gap and go system. The information's on otot.now.com under resources. So check that out if you want to know kind of what language we're using as far as day trading. We will execute the market open, then transition to question and answers. For contingencies, steve@otot.now.com is always available for you to be able to, if you have any issues. And also standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education briefing, and you have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear in the brief. All right, let's switch up to TD Ameritrade. We're looking at a 1-year chart, left to right from the SPY, which mimics the S&P 500. As you can see, there's the steeper channel as well as the more mild channel, and we're kind of at the top end of that. We are well overdue for a big red day in the market, but so far the market keeps powering higher. And speaking of powering higher, let's pull up the Qs real quick. This is the same chart, except this is the NASDAQ, and you'll see that not only did it make its money back in tech by mid-June, its trend lines are getting steeper. So again, there's a few names out there that are pulling things higher, but I don't think the NASDAQ can continue on the torrid pace that it's been on to go higher there on the year. So we shall see though. All right, let's go to the 5-day look. This is back to the SPY now. Last 5 days, you really break that down straight, 5 green candlesticks, meaning it closed higher than where it opened. And then you saw a nice jump overnight. So a lot of good news out there. There is some bad headline stuff, and we will talk about that here soon. As far as earnings, though, probably Disney's the biggest name out there. Disney beat earnings, and they are up around 6+% off of doing so. And it wasn't really the parks and sports are obviously atrocious, but it was Disney Plus and the 100 million subscribers that they picked up. Now, what I didn't see, but I do know from my own experience, is if you're with Verizon, you got this free for a year. So can you really count free subscribers? That would be like counting people on a free trial in the room. I don't think that's fair, but of course they are. So the real question will be at the 1-year point, do the free subscribers stick around and become paid subscribers? Until then, it's kind of a dart throw sort of numbers. We also had CVS out, you can see pulled up there. They beat earnings, which you would expect. The neighborhood grocery store, not grocery store, neighborhood drugstore, so people can run in and pay 3 times as much for the stuff that they don't want to go get from battling the Walmart crowd. So obviously positioned pretty well. So good news there. All right, that's enough for earnings. There's more out there, but we'll catch it in the headline review. We'll go back to CNBC and we will take a look quickly at the futures this morning, which you can see there. NASDAQ's about even, but the Dow and S&P are up about 0.5% or a little more. Let's go ahead and take a look at Asia. Asia was up last time I checked. Okay, Japan has slipped into the red. The other two are up in the green slightly. Let's go to the Europe. Okay, Europe was in the green across the board. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. So again, major earnings coming out of Europe. We had BP coming out yesterday doing smart things. Again, so companies are doing what they can to position themselves to go higher. All right, here's our numbers from yesterday. And again, real reason to look at that is to go over to the VIX. We know we were in the green yesterday and finished strong, but the VIX still dropping, short volatility. And again, this looks like to be a short volatility day until that market turns around and sells off. All right, over to bonds, did not see much change there across the board. Over to oil, again, up to a nice 3% pop there in oil, up to 43, so that sounds pretty good. ExxonMobil either was out with earnings or it's today, one of the two. But again, big oil names out there are doing what they can. All right, over to gold, which is our topic of the day, gold, silver, and inflation. So one of the reasons to invest in precious metals is because you think the market's going to go down, money flow is going to go out, money's going to go flow into the precious metals. Another reason is you buy commodities, you buy things because things retain their value when you think inflation is going to go up. Well, so you have people actually buying this based on the theme that we are going to see some inflation or hyperinflation, if you will, based off of the monetary policy. And as we'll talk for the Federal Reserve here in a little bit, Federal Reserve is actually almost to the end of a 1-year study on what to do to increase inflation. Because inflation is so low, because interest rates are so low, they're trying to meet their target, which is around 2%. So we'll talk more about that later, but it's kind of crazy that the reason people are buying the gold is a little opposite from what the Fed is doing. All right, let's go back to the headline review and kind of scroll on down there. Talked about Disney's earnings already. Okay, private payroll growth was atrocious this morning. I want to say the exact number was 157,000 new jobs, and they were expecting 1 million. Yeah, so it missed by 85%. Yeah, you heard that right. And the market don't care, I guess. There's an intentional misspeak there. Yeah, market don't care. It's still just going to truck on higher. So that with these numbers, and we get another one tomorrow on Thursdays. So it's interesting. The market really has kind of not become one with these numbers and is really not moving off it. So we shall see. All right, vaccine deal. There's a J&J headline. There's also a Moderna headline that they're pricing their vaccine in the mid-20s, maybe 20s or 30s. There it is, 32, 37, so mid-30s. So we're going to get there again. The race is on for the vaccine by the end of the year. Okay, stimulus bill maybe this week. I would think it seems like things are getting closer. So it's either Congress or the House is supposed to go on vacation next week, so they have added impetus, to get something done. All right, there's your J&J headline. We'll take a look at J&J long. I did not look at the stock this morning, but I'll get back to it. Did look at Moderna, and the stock was kind of off this morning after that, but we'll cycle back to that in a minute. For all you South Park fans out there, Viacom CBS is going to make some more episodes. I really have never watched it. All right, let's see what else. Apple's interesting. Apple got a downgrade today, which is pretty rare, but they increased their price target to $420, so it's kind of a closet downgrade. But we shall see. Obviously, you know about the big explosion in Beirut yesterday, killing over 100 people, and like thousands were injured. So I'm sure there'll be more exactly what happened on that ammonium nitrate mega explosion. Not good. All right, Ford did rise yesterday off the CEO switch. They're also in play with that U.S. Postal Service contract that is coming out. They've met yesterday. So again, we're in another play with Workhorse, hoping that Workhorse gets a piece of that contract. But we shall see. Ford's in there as well. All right, let's see. Apple, we talked about. CVS, Blackstone bought Ancestry.com. Wynn Resorts missed earnings atrociously, so we will take a look at them short. They were expected to lose $4 and something a share, and they lost like $6 something a share. So pretty bad across the board in the casino world. All right, and J&J Long, we'll take a look at that for headline. Okay. Continue on down just a little bit more. There's what I was looking for. The Fed's expected to make a major commitment to ramping up inflation soon. And you say ramping up inflation, and most people are like, what? Why would they ever do that? Inflation's always bad. It's not always bad. There's a view that in the Federal Reserve, the appropriate inflation target should be 2% a year. So things double in price every 50 years or so, which is kind of about right. What you don't want to have is the 0% for decades, and then all of a sudden it resets, right? So it's better for a small creep up, is the theory, than it is to all of a sudden scream higher. So, all right, let's call that good. There's the downgrade for Apple at the bottom of the screen. All right, let's move over to FinViz, where we're going to take a look at GLD and time to talk about our precious metals. Why I wanted to show you this is basically the, what's that, 15 days of straight green. That's going higher, plus a big move today already priced in. So yeah, I mean, can it continue? I guess it could. Like I said, it's when Warren Buffett says if you buy commodities, you have to rely on somebody else buying them from you at a higher price. The investing world calls that the greater fool theory. You could hold this and be right all the way through the election, and then gold crashes, and if you didn't sell, then all those gains you made you didn't make because you let it go all the way back down. That's kind of why I don't like it. But we shall see. It's hitting off all-time highs. It's a beautiful looking chart. This is what a lot of people love to see out of a chart before they buy. When I see this chart, it's like, well, whether I should have or shouldn't have, I didn't, and I'm not going to buy here. So we'll wait for something else to happen. Okay, let's switch over to the Street Smart Edge from Charles Schwab. See some comments popping up in the chat here. Yeah, everything's holding channels on the other thing. Thanks, Predator. And then, yeah, Apple should downgrade Bank of America. Remember, Bank of America was kind of on fire here. It's kind of crazy, just because Warren Buffett's buying them. We'll see. All right, we're on the big board now over with gold. We have gold, silver, and platinum as the first three you're going to look at in the upper left, upper right. And you can see gold and silver are gold's coming off hitting all-time highs. Silver's not. It's only about halfway to its all-time high of 49 or so. And there you go. So it's been a while. What's that? Almost 10 years. So, excuse me. If you go down to platinum, platinum hasn't even recovered back to where it was. So if you were like, I'm dying to get in on a precious metal, just buy platinum. I don't like it, but it's certainly, the chart wise, people are going to start giving up on gold and silver because they've run up so much, and invest in the one that's been left behind. Okay, if you want all of them, again, I like to talk about ETFs as well. If you want all of them out there, glitter is your best bet for owning all of the metals across the board. If you want to there's owning the actual metals and there's owning the miners, and that's what the two ETFs are at the bottom. Is PICK, P-I-C-K, is an overall miner of all of the different precious metals, which there are several out there. You can see it has not fully recovered back to its February highs yet. Excuse me, January or December highs actually there. But when you look at Ring is your gold miners. So a lot of the names that are in Ring are also in other ETFs that are all things gold, which we talk about GLD up there, but there's also IAU. Well, there's about 50 of them, Well, some of GLD is pure. It only talks about the actual metal itself. IAU and the others also bring the miners in with it. So if you're looking for some of those plays, that's another, I would call it a derivative of a gold play. All right, that's all we're going to talk about for the precious metals and inflation at this time. Let's go ahead and switch over to some names. We'll go to our regular chart here and start looking at things. Let's take a look at Disney and see how Disney's doing this morning. All right, plenty of volume, 117 up to 124. Pretty much a straight line, sold off a little bit this morning, so I bet that reverse is going into the open now. I could see a lot of people buying Disney here. I don't know if it's got enough move up for a day trade or not, but certainly if you're holding Disney long, you should feel better about your holding today. All right, let's look at CVS long. I'm a much bigger fan of this name for CVS. Again, there's lots of things that, they have higher margins. They have a lot of foot traffic because people don't want to go to the big box stores. And even they do have a big box store presence because the CVS pharmacy is in Target. Excuse me, the other way around. Target has brought in CVS to run their pharmacies instead of their indigenous pharmacy. So a lot of ways to win, if you will. It looks like the chart's gone ballistic. It really hasn't. When you look at it, 62.50 all the way up to 67 or so. That's not a huge move. So it certainly does have room to run higher, and previous highs up into over 70. So kind of like that if you were to take a long today. That's certainly better than Disney. All right, let's check out Moderna mRNA. It was off a percent or two pre-market. Let's see if that's holding. Yeah, just a little bit there. So you have the earnings, you have the headline of the $32, $37 vaccine, very reasonable, which I'm sure insurance probably pays for that anyway. But a lot of good news out there. They beat by 5 cents. So not really sure why the stock is selling off. It does have the volume. So it doesn't fit our philosophy for day trading, but we will take a look and see if that switches around long at the open. We'll just check back on it. Next name, Palo Alto, got a major upgrade today. Palo Alto Networks is just PANW. Again, they are best of breed in the that's opinion, in the cybersecurity world. So they've run up a lot, gapping up from 255 to 260. That's not a huge percent, but certainly is a move. And if we back this chart out, let's kind of see where they've been there. So yeah, since last earnings, they came in from almost 250 all the way down to 220 and then back up this quarter, so from last quarter to this quarter. So kind of trucking their way higher. When you think of what's the thesis, a lot of people are at home. A lot of businesses are having to pay in these huge contracts all of a sudden to be able to protect their information flow from all their workers being distributed there. So I like that. Probably not enough for a day trade. We shall see. All right, I have J&J. I have not looked at J&J. Obviously, they got a big contract, so it's just that ticker. There we go. 147 to 150, so that's what, 2%, if you will. So not really enough to trade on. And then last one, WYNN, WYNN. Obviously, huge miss in earnings. So we'll get a look at the numbers here. And it's gapping up. Am I seeing that right? Previous close at 72.75, and now it's up at 740. Defying all logic. We'll keep an eye on that one. I still have it written down as a short. Invax is probably your biggest jump that I've seen today. You can look right off to the right. It's up 20%. Again, that's another name with vaccines and COVID and all those sorts of things. So closed at 157. It's up at 190. Again, back this chart out a little bit. So there's your Invax. So hop in if you dare, right? So 45 all the way up to, it's at 190 right now. Not for me, but I wouldn't doubt you if you hopped in on this one long. We'll come back and check on Invax. Okay. And these things will obviously, once there is a vaccine and it works, so at some point in time, all these biotechs that aren't in on the big win will crater, and you don't want to be holding the bag when it happens. Okay, Sorrento has obviously run up quite a bit. Let's bring that chart though. I like the numbers there. So SRNE for a long. No headline news, but Kramer did talk about them last night about they should be a lot higher. So maybe we'll see them go higher. All right, let's see. Silver, we aren't going to touch for a day trade. Americans up a little bit today. Don't know what's causing that, but we don't need to take a look. We can go to the next tab. There's our INVAX. So Disney is setting up exactly what we want for our numbers, so I can't really say that's a bad thing. I like CVS better, but that's certainly something you could trade this morning. And Predator said, pretty good. Channel tightening. Yeah, you bet. I'm looking on a different screen. There's, yeah, I think we showed it yesterday, right? The channel tightening in, and it's getting gap out of that, excuse me, higher. So that's another reason to buy it. All right, Square is up significantly this morning. It was off of earnings. Let's go ahead and bring Square up. And I saw a headline out of the earnings that was pretty good, and I beat by 23, beat on revenue. All right, thought I saw something else, but I didn't. That would be a long. It's run up a lot. It'd be tough to take this one long. Okay, let's see what else. Nothing else meets volume and our percent change criteria. So let's switch over to the decliners. Again, we are due. The futures are up, but we are due for a market that rolls over at the open. It tried yesterday and did not at first couple minutes and did not make it there. Beyond Meat, BYND, I believe that was an earnings. Maybe it's just headline, just off of the domestic growth, or maybe that came out of earnings. But I saw this article this morning. So yeah, there's they've gone straight up, and now they're coming in some. So that would meet our criteria for going short. We'll watch that set up. I think it's we don't have too many shorts to watch. There's Win and Beyond Meat, so we shall see. A lot of people like this Beyond Meat name though, so I think it'd be tough to short. All right, Teladoc is in a merger, so it meets our numbers. They merged with Livongo. If you saw that, Livongo's up, Teladoc's down. So there's the market voting on the winners and losers of that. Even though it meets our criteria, I generally don't like those things because it reprices fairly quickly instead of that big long sell-off. Like you could see people dumping Win stock today. You could see that. You could see people dumping Beyond Meat today, but probably not as much as Win stock. All right. Twilio was a negative headline out of yesterday after earnings. They beat earnings and sold off, so I would not touch them short here. All right, let's look at the next tab. There's Square going higher. Fiverr International is going higher. Put a FVRR. The third one's up there. It's kind of gapping out of our zone, but beats on earnings, beats on revenue, guides above consensus. So that's exactly what you're looking for out of that. Put Fiverr in here. I'm interested. I'm looking at their PE value on the other on another screen. Fiverr, if you're not familiar, is a freelancer. So they're the freelancing network, if you will. Like my podcast, The Voice that came on, I found her off of Fiverr and paid her, I don't know, $50 or something for that and got it done. So if you want freelance work, or if you have kids that need freelance work, Fiverr, you can put up a profile literally and set your price and you are off to the races. They're not profitable, so I'm seeing a big negative PE. They're looking at becoming profitable, probably based off of today's number. So there's your change, and they're switching to profitable. So there is some shorting going into this name. It's kind of run, it was at it was at $20 on March 23rd, and it's up over 100 now, so 5x. So we shall see, but we'll watch that long. All right. Ouya gapping up a little higher there. Devon Energy. See what's going on with Devon Energy, DVN. Nothing other than that they're gapping up. They do meet our numbers, so we'll come back and check on them. All right, and Teva Pharmaceuticals. Let's see what the headline is there for Teva. Don't see a headline, but it's gapping up. Obviously, that would be off of, we're looking on another. Oh, okay, they did have an earnings beat, sales miss this morning in the same guide up. So we shall see. Yeah, we'll put TDoc back in there. Teladoc, that was I mean, just click on that and brings it back. Teladoc is the merger with Livongo and Teladoc. So Teladoc is down. And I said on this, remember, I don't like to take them off of merger because things tend to reprice pretty quickly versus a negative beat where people want to do a bunch of selling. All right, 5 minutes to go here. Finish up on this screen. There's your Disney, heart of the envelope for us, so maybe we will take that long. All right, let's look at the last tab for the NASDAQ. Sorrento meets our numbers for going higher, SRNE. We already talked about them. Kind of low volume across the board there. All right, I don't have anything I'm in love with. Let's go ahead and set up our screen on the left. Let's put Disney on the left. That would be a long. CVS in the middle. That would be a long. And then Win on the right. That would be a short. We may pull up Beyond Meat here as well. Okay, so let's see how they're setting up. Disney's kind of matching the market almost exactly. When you look at the left-hand screen is the SPY. So taking Disney long here, it could easily go from 124 up to 126. So you'd have to, we can watch Disney for an entry. We would want that to continue down, stay below 124 or so for a while as people took some profits and then flip to go higher. So we can keep that up there again, looking at 124 or below for an entry. All right, for CVS, dropped all the way down to 60. So in the past 6 minutes, it's moved up over $1 after kind of selling off from 68 to 65. I don't like all that selling there. Generally, people don't take profits pre-market. They'll wait for it to open. So kind of don't like the chart, the way it's setting up. So we'll see. Win from 75 down to 73.5. I like that. I would have to think it would probably go quicker than later because who's going to want to hold Win? Where it's back that chart out a little bit, if you would please, kind of get some track record on it. 5 days is fine. Okay, so it's been it sold off hard, 3 days ago, and from 76. So yeah, I think all those people that just bought right there, they would be pretty quick triggered to sell back out. So I could see the stock ended up down in the 71, 70 range. So Win is going to be the one I'm going to look at as my favorite short. So I'll be looking at as my first choice. Disney will be my second choice. I'm not sold yet on this CVS entry, so let's take a look at another short out there, BYND. Again, go to like a 15-day just to get a little track record. 10 days fine. So kind of a hammerhead out of the deal there. I could say that has plenty of room to run too, so I like that a little bit better. 1 minute to go. So what would I want for an entry on Beyond Meat? I would want it to back up to probably above 132. You know, kind of get some momentum, some profit taking up in that 132 to 134 range, and then turn around and short it from there. So at minute 2, minute 3 kind of thing. So that'll be our third thing that we're looking at. All right, as far as the market overall, it's a quick refresh. There's our last minute here. We're looking at CNBC now. So yeah, NASDAQ's a little bit in the green, and Dow and the S&P are up around 0.5%. But kind of, if you look at that left-hand panel of the SPY itself, kind of a negative trend line going into the market. So we shall see. So again, we have win on the right. That's our first priority if you want to set your trade stations up. And then second would be Disney, looking to go long. And then there we go. There's the open. And then 3 Beyond Meat short there. All right. So win, I like that move up. That's a 50-cent move higher there. So basically with win, if it drops below 73.07, if it goes red past the bottom there, that's when I will take that trade if we can't get some green bars. Beyond is doing what I would like. Again, I wanted it to go up to above 130. 132 would be nice before it turns around and sells off. But I like both of these moves. All right, nice jump in volume in win. So that's setting up pretty nice for us. We'll probably just wait until minute 2 to kind of take a look at what's going on win. Now that win's up over 74, I could see an entry down at the 73.75 level, kind of clearing some of that congestion. Okay, 73.75 is when we will enter win if it comes down. I would rather it go higher and continue higher, much like Beyond's doing, before we take a trade on either of these short. All right, there's some win in red. Let's get in at 73.85 if it comes down there. It ticked it, so 73.85 for our entry short. Then let's see, we need a up to 45, so a 60-cent stop up to 74.45. So we're in that trade. Again, that is win short with a 60-cent stop. Also want to look at Beyond Meat short. Yeah, I asked for it to go up 132 to 134. It is in that zone. I would not take it until it fell back to around 131.6 or so right now, because it is kind of screaming higher. So we'll keep an eye on that. Disney, yeah, turnaround going back long. Just going to keep an eye on that for now. Let's go ahead and draw our stuff into the entry there on win. So just in the one trade right now. Yeah, it looks like Beyond Meat is, people are buying it hand over fist. That's legitimate volume coming in there. So I am not going to, we'll give it a couple more minutes or so, but I'm not excited about how far it backed up there. I wanted the 132 to 134 range. It went up to 135 or so. All right, what did we flipped out of this on win? Looks like it, yep. So we hit our R stop at win at 74.45, so down 1 R there. Yeah, Beyond Meat's just too strong. That's screaming higher, so we don't need to look at that. We'll keep it up there, but let's look at Disney, though. Disney was continuously bought from 123 up to 125, almost 124.50 at least. Yep, not excited about that entry at all either. Let's look at some other names. The other short, let's see, Teladoc, TDOC, it's a short, and see if that would go, sold off from 238 down to 226, $12 move down. That would be pretty good. That would have been a dart throw to buy that there. And it's bouncing, couldn't take that. Beyond Meat starting to sell off. Again, too strong, went up to 138.39 from a 130 open, so $8. That's just too crazy. Okay, some other longs we'll look at in that right panel are CVS. I do kind of like the way CVS has come in here and sold off a little bit. They're not gapping anymore, though. That's from 65.75 down to, that's over $1. I don't know that it has the strength to be able to go back higher. Market is selling off a little bit. They're all 3 in the green though still, so don't really like the setup there. Let's look at mRNA long. It went negative pre-market, but I could see people buying it at the open. Nope, still down 2.7% on the day. So Beyond is coming in pretty hard again. I wouldn't take it because I think that's too strong of a move higher there. Because it would have to stripe all the way down to like below 130. I don't see it happening. All right, let's look on the right pane, PANW. Again, this is a long, not a lot of volume here, and kind of a tough price point. So not in play, so we'll get rid of that one. J&J would be a long. Well off its pre-market highs, so I don't know. I don't like that one either. All right, when we talked about Invax long, let's see if Invax had legs higher. Real nice entry into Invax here if you're watching this. So this is kind of what we're looking for. You want that big move down. If you're going to go long in AIM, you want those big dojis hanging down because that means that there's, you know, anything that drops is getting bought back higher. So that's a nice entry. Again, it's gapped up quite a bit, so it would have to get up to around 190 or so for you to make a 3-hour move in that. But Invax would have worked had we watched it. Disney looks like it's marching higher. Again, we didn't really get an entry there that I liked. And then Beyond selling off of what, $5 off of where it touched there for its peak high. So we shall see. All right, Square is a long name we're going to take a look at. All right, people bought this right at the open. So 153 to 157, you could have structured that as a 3-hour trade. You'd have had to taken it around that second minute though. As soon as it goes above 154.75, that would have been your entry point there. So 3-hour move though with the dollar stop. All right, let's look at SRNE long. Again, this is more of a continuation. The thing's been screaming higher. It's up 8.5%. So opened at 14.3, went to 14.6, all the way down to 13.4. That's a heck of a move. I don't think you could take that one. That's just too far, too fast on those 3 red minutes down. Even though it does look like to be recovering. All right, Beyond we talked about. Let's look at 5-hour long, FVRR. All right, opened around 115. You probably couldn't take it until about 117 going higher, but it definitely a $7 move, pretty much straight up from there. So 5-hour would have worked. All right, let's look at DXN long, excuse me, DVN. Can't remember the name of the company, DVN, Devon Energy, that's right. This was a long. That did not work at all. That failed. So tough on an energy name. Look at Disney marching higher. So looks like that will end up working as well. No real clear entry down at the bottom there. I wouldn't have liked that. All right, let's see. One more on the right screen, Teva, T-E-V-A. Was a long, and I think that was a continuation as well. 12.5 all the way down. It's only a 30-cent move down, so that would have been kind of a decent entry there, but weren't looking at it. Okay, so you see Disney working and Beyond Meat working, but we're not in either of those because we didn't like the entries. On the right screen, let's look at Luckin Coffee, LKNCY. See what Luckin's doing today? A whole lot of nothing, not really moving much. Let's look at some of the other EV names. Workhorse, WKHS. Nice move up, 173 up to almost 1790, excuse me. So yeah, $0.50 move up, not bad. All right, let's look at Blink. Yep, that works. Down and then up, not following the same pattern there. It's been kind of on fire lately though. How about Nikola? They missed earnings, so they got beat pretty hard, obviously, so down 15%. Can't really short it here, but I think the people that are in that name are the Tesla types that they're just going to hold it forever and wait for the truck deliveries in 2021 and see if it hits or not. So, all right, and let's see, Shell, S-H-L-L. All right. Yep, Disney's continuing to work motor and higher there. Let's look over to see what's going around the other names on chart. Again, it's kind of now switching back into our long-term investing. Disney almost at the top up there. A couple of psychedelic names: Prudential, Workhorse up, New Star. ORCC is Owl Rock Capital. If you'll hear me talk about them, several folks have that. That is, again, a bunch of folks that left Blackstone to start their own PE firm. Pretty smart people. All right, LCNB, Lebanon Citizens National Bank up, Boeing up. A couple days in a row for Boeing. All right, let's look at the what's off today. So Nicole obviously is your big loser across the board there. Take-Two, Sony, Activision, that's kind of surprising. Those names have been on fire. And then Blink in the red as well. So not too many names in the red. Overall, Dow Jones is up almost 1%. NASDAQ's holding in the green, and SPY's around 0.5%. Okay, let's go back and check on our trades again real quick, see if Disney's still cooking higher. So yeah, ugly entry into Disney where if you took it, it'd have been tough not to get stopped out on that minute 5, got dropping all the way back down, minute 6. So yeah, no real entry there. And it does look like Beyond Meat is continuing to sell off. So some selling pressure there. I didn't like that entry. That was a 130 to 138.40 move higher. So that's too tough. And then Shell, look at that. Shell's got some hard selling going in. Only 20 cents, so I just, it's kind of zoomed in there. So, all right, let's go and talk about our long-term topic of the day. So we're going to switch over to inflation, talk a little bit about inflation and then the Fed. Inflation first. So inflation targeting. So this is what they're doing. And what I told you earlier is they want the Fed, thinks 2% is the optimal number. That's in their charter, is maintain inflation at 2% and stable unemployment. So what are they going to do? It's a central bank strategy of specifying an inflation rate as a goal. Well, what they have to do is they have to adjust their interest rates. Well, in this case, we can click over to the Fed. What they're doing there, so perfect article, you can kind of read through that as I'm talking about. But basically, they're considering a policy to where they, the Fed, say we're not going to raise interest rates for 6+ years, 10+ years, basically guaranteeing the market that interest rates are going to stay low. What had happened back in, if you remember, coming out of the global financial crisis, Janet Yellen was in charge, and they went up to about 2018 or so. They had not raised rates yet. It was about 6 years, I think they were at 0. Then they started creeping up. Well, December 2018 is where they did three raises in 2018, and that caused that 20% sell-off in the market. So what everybody's hoping for out of our policymakers this time around is that they stay lower longer, and that lets the inflation rate naturally creep up towards that 2%. So they can't directly affect it, but they certainly can indirectly affect it. So that's what I've got for you today. I do have an interview here and on the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. But as far as our one trade, did not work. But when you think long-term investing, markets up across the board for several days in a row, and Disney on another screen is up to almost 9%. So it's good to see Disney back and getting some love. With that, we will see you tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Bye.